Russia is one of the top 3 producers of oil, and it is actually their #1 revenue source. Now, with Putin starting this horrific fight between Ukraine and Russia, nobody wants to work with him and do an international trade.
Rest in peace to all the soldiers that died in the service.
This is your brain. This is
TikTok.
This is your brain on
TikTok.
Any questions?
That's why the TikTok thing was a big deal, because it was a social media platform we didn't create. So it's like, oh shit, we don't want some other country's tech influencing us. In China, the way that the algorithm works, it doesn't reward people doing stupid dances and like playing with their dog. The algorithm is rewarding things that they want to see their youth do, doing cool engineering,
So
people
fun.
doing cool science. But if you're China and you wanted to disrupt another country, wouldn't you reward the dumbest possible shit on that app? Twerking, people doing stupid dances. You want the next level of youth to go, I can be famous doing something that's truly worthless to society.
So, the White House invited TikTok influencers to attend a special little briefing. This raised a few eyebrows for various reasons. Some say it's just cringe. Some say it's for purposes of propaganda. And some just don't really care. Thing is about TikTok, it's equally cringy and concerning for a variety of reasons. On a surface level, it's very easy to hate and clown on TikTok. It's mindless, goofy, attention deficit inducing throwaway donkey dump. But some people see it a little differently. That it's just harmless fun. A place where little girls of all ages can just do silly dances. TikTok has changed a lot since going from being Musical.ly to just a new version of Vine with more sinister owners. It's now a place where you can get financial advice from 13-year-olds and tips on how to indoctrinate and brainwash young children. TikTok is no longer harmless fun, but it is mindless entertainment. Is it worse for your brain than watching the BBC or Good Morning Britain or any reality TV show? Neuroscientists will have to confirm or debunk that theory. What is less debunkable is that it is a great tool to dumb down a captive audience into such a malleable and suggestible state that any silly idea suggested can seem completely reasonable and legitimate. TikTok is a slow pounding of the human mind into a very primitive and simple form, and the Chinese government know this and have been utilizing this for some time. Not only with their own version of TikTok, Douyin, but TikTok itself.
TikTok, I need your help. You are TikTok, right? You are Chinese, and you are also America's famous therapist. Tell me why there are still so many Americans' impression about China still on 60s or 70s. Doesn't mean that you did not do nothing with your life for the past 30 years. So China didn't do nothing neither.
This is your brain on
TikTok.
For your better understanding, people don't use cash or card anymore. Anything that needs to be paid, we scan, swipe, and click. We are on scan, swipe, and click like for years. And you're here on a Chinese app figuring out how to get attention that you would never get in real life. Please, people like this do never go to China. You're probably gonna act like a monkey in the modern society.
Any questions?
Many foreigners might not know very much about Chinese people. Maybe they've seen something in the media that isn't true or that they don't understand. 7 years ago, I came to China for work.
This is your brain. This is
TikTok.
My parents were very worried about this arrangement because China is so far away, and they worried that perhaps I would be bullied. However, when I came here, I found the Chinese people around me were very friendly and not what I thought at all. They taught me to order takeaway, pay with WeChat, and they always helped me as much as they could. What's more, my colleagues are all hardworking and self-motivated, and I can learn a lot from them. I like the life here better than the life I had in America because my job was really boring in America. Now, I have been working in China for 7 years.
this is your brain. This is
TikTok.
Any questions?
In movies, one single American can save the world. However, in reality, when the mankind facing a big crisis, it is China who stands out and save the world. Up to now, we have helped 82 countries and organizations worldwide. Among them, some are our old friends, but some are not so friendly to us before. But still, we decided to stretch out our helping hands to all of them, despite the fact that we are recovering from the epidemic ourselves. Because for many of these countries, China is their last and only hope. Without the help from China, they probably will never be able to survive this pandemic.
This is your brain on
TikTok.
Any questions?
China's state-sponsored propaganda war hasn't garnered the attention and concern it ought to have. No one seems to care that much, and no one seems to want to point out the glaringly obvious. We cannot do what the Chinese do in their country. Go and try and just open a Douyin account and then make videos about how real Taiwan is. It would be easier for you to conjure up the spirits of all your favorite dead rappers.
All right, Mac Miller.
When they're going to ban TikTok when Trump was in power, what happened there? What some people don't seem to be aware of is that propaganda isn't just a tool for nutter countries like North Korea and China and France. Propaganda is universal, and it's now quite clear that the American government and its agencies realized how useful TikTok could be. They don't want to beat the Chinese. They don't even want to join them. They want to be them. Inviting TikTok stars to the White House is, in itself, an act of soft propaganda, I suppose, because it caught so much attention and makes a statement. What that statement isn't so clear, though. Are they trying to look cool? Are they trying to show that they care about the youth? Are they trying to groom the youth? Are they trying to spread their message to the youth? Is it all of the above? Probably. Are TikTok stars useful idiots? Most likely. The kids don't want to be brainwashed by actors or singers no more. Despite most in the profession being insufferable imbeciles, they can actually form somewhat coherent sentences. The kids of today understand idiot speak, and the government wants their bottom line on naughty baddie Vlad and beautiful stunning Ukraine to be translated clearly into idiot speak for the poor unsuspecting youth. A youth whose brains have been reduced to such a fluffy mush that their parents might as well buy them all a ball of string to keep them amused while medical practitioners inject them with freedom serum.
Now, millions of people are turning to TikTok to understand what's happening in Ukraine. It's why the White House invited 30 of the platform's biggest stars to a virtual briefing to answer their questions about the conflict and the role the U.S. is playing.
Yes, the White House wanted to keep TikTokers informed about Ukraine, and in turn, keep everyone who watches them informed.
Why is gas so expensive, and why is the United States inflation rate at a 4-time decade high? I had the opportunity to ask the White House why gas down the street is $7, and here's what they said. The obvious reason: we're getting out of a 2-year pandemic. When use goes up, price goes up. But the call was predominantly about Ukraine and Russia, so how does that relate? Russia is one of the top 3 producers of oil, and it is actually their #1 revenue source. Now, with Putin starting this horrific fight between Ukraine and Russia, nobody wants to work with him and do international trade. So, with people being scared of war and limited resources, prices are bound to go up as well. For the people who can't pay $7 for a gallon of gas, there's an app called Gas Buddy that shows you the cheapest gas near you, as well as a link in my bio to donate to the misplaced refugees of Ukraine.
This girl has all the sincerity of a Nigerian email fraudster posing as Gaddafi's love child. I am very sure she asked those questions and definitely wasn't told to say this. But how am I so sure? What do I know? Because you could have written anything down on a cue card and she would have read it. I mean, like anything.
9/11 was done by the Zionists, want 'em!
But how do I know she would say anything? Because this girl can cruise through life without a care in the world. She doesn't need intellect nor talent to get by. She is merely aesthetically pleasing. And that's it. How do I know she has no talent? Well, unlike most TikTok influencers who get famous from dancing, this girl can't even dance.
We fucking all in the street. She told me to recline, so I had to let back the seat.
If this girl wasn't reading government propaganda, she'd most likely be on a yacht in the UAE, getting tag-teamed by 6 sheikhs and their pet tigers. But not all of these influencers are just vacuous wannabe dancers. Some of them are vacuous pop culture historian activists.
Do you know what the Do It To It challenge is or where it comes from? Well, it's 2022, and many TikTokers are still uninformed as they extract from and dilute Black American culture on the platform.
That's right. Mr. Green is an educator on appropriation of Black TikTok trends.
Now, there was definitely a lot discussed, but in this video, I'm going to go over the specific question that I got to ask, the answer to it, and my thoughts on their response.
Unlike dance crazes, war propaganda is an exclusively white phenomenon, which makes this man a complete hypocrite.
So this was my question. Many people from marginalized communities in the United States have become dejected regarding the situation because there's an imbalance of coverage and assistance given to the Ukraine-Russia crisis compared to other occupations, invasions, and attacks throughout the world, some of which have U.S. involvement. What incentivizes these Americans to be in strong support of the U.S., giving high levels of attention and direct aid against the Russian invasion, as we feel there isn't enough attention on related issues in other places throughout the world and right here in the United States?
He probably did ask that question after it was approved.
According to them, one reason that this crisis is specifically notable is because of the size of the invasion, which is the largest since World War II. Second, they acknowledge that this coverage imbalance exists for crises throughout the world and encourage us as content creators to use our platforms to highlight different issues as they arise, especially when mainstream media fails to do so.
So when the memo gets misread by the usual idiots, they'll send it to this guy?
Third, they said that just because something isn't getting mainstream coverage in media doesn't mean that the United States isn't giving aid, whether that be monetary, humanitarian, or military aid to other issues throughout the globe.
Translation: let's stop focusing on all the bad stuff we do.
And last, they said that they hope that this crisis at least raises the public consciousness around geopolitical issues throughout the world, and that even though Americans may not be proud of other things the United States has done globally, that they hope that we can look back on this moment and see how the United States rallied the West to stand up against Russia and be proud of that.
Yes, this time we're definitely doing it for good reasons. Definitely this time. All the other times, no, but this time, you betcha.
And once again, that's what they said. Now, I'll just share 3 quick points of analysis that came to mind. So first, I think the best attempted direct answer to what I asked was the first point that they made, in that the invasion in Ukraine is so large that it could have global consequences which would affect everyone throughout the world, including here in the United States. Second, while I'm glad that they acknowledge that other issues, both domestically and internationally, rarely get as much coverage, I think it was a red herring for them to suggest that this was just due to media corporations.
Oh dear. He seems to have his own brain.
Like Biden's State of the Union, which was just last week, was definitely a time where he got to choose what issues would get awareness. For example, he made the decision to go up there and talk about criminal justice by saying the answer is not to defund the police, it's to fund the police. That's just to say that the government isn't helpless to the whims of the media, but they also have opportunities to craft the political narrative themselves.
He's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but he's as sharp as it gets on TikTok, I suppose.
The last thing I'll say is that the answer generally had this tone of, America's doing a lot to help the world, but of course we wish we could do more. However, there wasn't a lot of acknowledgement in what America should stop doing in terms of their connections to occupations, invasions, and general bad faith actions throughout the world. And I want to hear your comments and opinions too.
Naughty TikToker! Well, this propaganda campaign isn't going quite as well as intended, though all his criticisms do feel fairly state-endorsed, unlike this apparent TikTok news creator.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
That's more like it. Grandpa Joe will be very, very happy with you, my son. One more TikTok influencer who has received attention and backlash since this campaign started is Jules Turpak. It's quite easy to call all of these TikTokers airheads, but in reality, they're less like Ethan Klein and Hassan Piker and more like Piers Morgan level airhead. Piers Morgan is a fool, but he's not completely dumb. He just works in places for the dumb, and that's what we have here.
Okay, so more than half of young people today want to work for themselves, even at the start of their careers. Though idealized, shit is tough, and observing entrepreneurs has made me respect the process that much more. Because of this, I found watching big tech steal ideas from startups way more unsettling. It wasn't illegal for Instagram to copy Snap Stories, or for every platform to copy TikTok's entire concept. Companies have free reign to make an existing product or service better. But this example has me baffled. So,
this is somewhat informative, but it's as informative as TV news because it's on TikTok. And just like TV, it only has a certain amount of time to deliver so much information. And we'll never be able to fully inform anyone about anything. This girl did not seem to post any content about Ukraine as far as I can see. She just went into the meeting and that's it so far. But then again, this might not age so well, so who knows? Time will tell. Some of the other TikTok influencers who came to the little cringe party at the Beige House are people who deliver the news via TikTok. It's this that fascinates and concerns me at the same time. The internet and the age of the podcast has enabled us to move away from the constraints of mainstream news and discourse. The constraints have not always been about the fact that they peddle government and corporate narratives, making sure they don't rock the boat for those that keep them in business. The constraints are a little simpler than that. They're about time. TV is rigid, with only so much time allowed for any given topic or news story, which led to a culture of consuming not enough information to make an informed decision. The age of the podcast that came with the age of the internet has been a revelation for human growth and discourse, and this has destroyed TV media, and they've been fighting hard against it for a long time now. This brave new age, however, is threatened by the culture of TikTok, Twitter, and IG Reels, and Snapchat, and any other technology that can only deliver complex information with limited amounts of time. This is a step backwards. This is why China and perhaps the US government are embracing it. It's super snappy shots of bullet points that deliver the message that every NPC who consumes it can regurgitate to their equally ill-informed peers. There's no room for thought with this kind of media, no room for reflection, no room for contemplation and dissection. It's literally crack cocaine versus LSD. We should be demanding LSD right now. That's why it's sensible to hate on TikTok, rather than because it's for the kids and we don't understand what the kids like. Fidget spinners are for the kids. Fidget spinners are stupid, and kids like them, and they're harmless. I cannot say the same thing for TikTok. It's stupid, and I think it's harmful. The TikTok propaganda tactics perhaps may only work for governments if they succeed in creating a system like China. Unfortunately, as we can see, some of these little twerps have brains of their own, but those brains are definitely not in tune with world affairs. And how do I know this? Because they're Zoomers and American, so it's an open and shut case. As a little chapter in the ever-growing and concerning information war, this, all jokes aside, is a clear signal of intent. These TikTokers aren't controversial or even ugly, which makes them ideal people to reach out to. If they could torture their loved ones in Guantanamo Bay, maybe they'd all play ball a bit more. But then again, they only need to take away certain little things from such privileged generations to turn them into proper shills. You know, like steal their hairbrush. Or maybe, just maybe, this has all been another weird publicity stunt to try and be cool with the kids, who are very popular with the future voters who the government can't quite groom properly. And, insert any jokes you want. Time will tell, and TikTok will rot more brains. This is what you know for sure. There is one message that needs to be spread, and one that many people do not seem to get yet. The people who watch all this stuff are very impressionable and suggestible people, because they are children. And what many weirdo teachers and activists and lunatic content creators and government infiltrators need to get into their heads is this one message. Leave the kids alone, please. Leave them the fuck alone. And the rest of it? What are they going to do with TikTok in the future? Well, I suggest you keep an eye on it and make sure it's nothing proper weird. Oh, too late. It's all proper weird. Just ban it.